Even though I've had this aircraft model for years, it wasn't before I started looking closer at this aircraft model and spent a bit of time with it for this review that I found out that it is actually rather surprising for a freighter. With that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at a Boeing 777-200F of AeroLogic. At the front of the box we have a cutout so we can get a glimpse of the aircraft model inside, and on top of that we have the AeroLogic branding. On the back side of the box we then find a lovely image of the aircraft in real life. We are provided with the original dimensions of the aircraft, and once again we find the AeroLogic branding. Simple but a rather nice box design. I wonder why Herpa can't do this today. Oh yeah, it's because they want to save money and don't care about their product. And here she is, the Boeing 777-200F in the current livery of AeroLogic, and the airline itself is of course a joint venture between Lufthansa Cargo and D-AALG. The model was created by Herpa Wings in 2014 and is the 001 version from Herpa Wings. This means it is the second release. The first one was created in 2008, however with a different registration code. Now, this aircraft model is rather popular with collectors and rather sought after, but let's see if it is actually worth hunting for by taking a closer look to see what it actually has to offer. And as always, we start our tour around the aircraft model with a look at the tail section, where we on the vertical stabilizer find the AeroLogic branding. On the fuselage we then have the full registration code of the aircraft and the German flag. Towards the very tail of the aircraft we also have a bit of detailing around the APU exhaust. In the intro of the video I said that this aircraft model had ended up surprising me, and the first surprise I came across when looking at the aircraft model was here on the top side of the fuselage, where I could see that Herpa has added some printed antennas. Yes, only in print, but this alone is actually unusual for Herpa. At the front of the aircraft and across the fuselage we then again have the AeroLogic branding. Underneath that we have the aircraft type specification. But here we come to the next surprise, because just look how lovely detailed the front cabin door is. Yes, you would say, shouldn't it always look like this? And I would agree, but it doesn't with Herpa. This is actually extraordinary for Herpa. Where we are then going back to a bit more normal Herpa level is with the cockpit section, because here we have the cockpit windows and the window wipe is printed on, but that's about it for that part of the aircraft. When we then look at the engines, we can see the nacelles have been given this light grey color and have the silver leading edge printed on, but that's all the printed details we find on the nacelles. And also the nacelles are a bit too squeezed for the GE90 engines, but that's a common issue with all Herpa 777s. But I actually still quite like how the physical detailing of these engines has been pulled off, especially of course when we look into the front, where we very nicely can see the engine fan blades. From the engines we can move on to the wings, which we should definitely also take a closer look at, starting over the top side, where we can see the different flap slats and spoilers have been carved out very nicely, but that's all the detailing we get here, so no printed details. Also the same goes for the underside, nice physical detailing but no printed details. The landing gear itself is the standard landing gear that Herpa uses for all their 777s, and in this case it is actually a good thing, because I think Herpa does rather well with that. And here we come to the next surprise, because Herpa has actually added some printed details to the front landing gear. This is extremely unusual for Herpa, but I'm happy to see that they've done it here. And then last but not least, as this is a freighter, we do of course also have the doors with the cargo compartments printed on here for the secondary cargo compartments at the back, here at the front, and on the other side the main cargo hatch at the back of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Boeing 777-200F in the current livery of AeroLogic from Herpa Wings in scale 1 to 500. And what can we say about this aircraft model? The first thing we can point out is perhaps the most obvious. It is a 777 from Herpa Wings. And that in itself is actually a good thing, because overall Herpa does quite well with their 777s. The only issue I have when it comes to physical detailing with those are the GE90 engines, which in my opinion with Herpa Wings are too squeezed. They're just not true to scale, but despite that they do still look nice. When we talk about the print, well, the story that Herpa is rather stingy with details is of course not a new one, but it shows especially on freighters, because often they don't come with very elaborate liveries, so when the livery doesn't really offer anything, it becomes even more important that you add some details of the aircraft type itself, and this is where Herpa often has failed. However, with this aircraft model, and I must admit, seemingly rather out of the blue, they have actually added some additional details that we otherwise normally wouldn't get on a standard aircraft model. And of course, the model itself really does benefit from it. There is still plenty of room for improvement. There could have been added many more details. But I mean, in this case, I'm just happy that they added those details, because normally we wouldn't get them at all. So yeah, I kind of understand why this aircraft model is so sought after. I mean, one thing, it is a 777 freighter, it is a 777 freighter in the AeroLogic livery, and it actually offers us some nice detailing. So if you can get your hands on it, I would say absolutely it is worth having in one's collection. Now with that, we have reached the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed this video, why not leave a like? That would be very much appreciated. And of course, if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? That would be absolutely awesome. With that, I would like to say thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.